Anto, would you like to do the intro today?
Okay.
You're having a good day.
I'm having a good day.
You're having a good day.
AC Milan is having a good week.
Uh-huh.
I mean, besides the loss that we had against Feyenoord.
just besides losing against Feyenoord.
We are catching up with the contenders on the for the fourth spot on the Champions League, vis-a-vis Fiorentina, vis-a-vis Lazio. And Inter might not quite make it to the Champions League because things are slipping up.
You don't think Inter's going to make it
I
to
don't
the
know.
Champions League?
I don't know. They're kind of slipping up. They look tired.
I don't know
They kind of look tired and mentally exhausted because you can be tired physically, but if your tiredness starts over here, not good.
Okay.
Not good. Not good.
So what are we talking about? AC Milan?
I mean, where do you guys want to start? We start wherever you guys want to
do
start.
the introduction.
Do the introduction.
Okay, guys.
Introduce us, the people.
First of all, welcome back to the next episode of IFTV, the best podcast in all United States and the world, I would say.
That's right.
About the universe.
The universe. We
might go to Mars
We
soon.
have followers from all over the planets, not just the planet Earth.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, from the center, the GOAT, Antonio Cinque Palmi. On my left, Peter Ukurt, PC. On his left, we have GM, Gaetano Messina, Il Grande. And then over here, we have Eminem, Mickey Mouse, on his right, Mickey Mouse. And then we have MK, Michael Kors, a.k.a. Mike Il Greco. All right?
Mike the Greek.
The Greek.
What an intro. Wow.
So, was that a nice intro, Mike?
That was special.
I can make it in Spanish if you want.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I think we'll be all right. Every week, I come more and more confused to this podcast. I got to tell you, with where the league is going. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because
Not
it's
with what Anto says?
No, not with that.
Oh, just in general.
Just with the league in general. Every time I think I learned something else happens, and I get even more confused. On Saturday, when Napoli tied to Lazio, which, oh my gosh, when I look at Napoli's bench, it's just, it's incredible to me. And they're almost lucky to get a tie in that game. I say, okay, here's the time. This is where Inter is going to take over. They're going to step up. Maybe they could win this game. And for all the quality that Inter has, they weren't able to do it. Now, what's your big takeaway from the weekend?
Well, Juventus, I think finally they're winning game after game. So they're on the right track, even though they still some adjustments to make tactically. I think they still need to adjust something. I like with the two guys that are playing on the wings, but when I look at other teams, if you're on the left side and Nico's got the ball, the right side, Conceição should be on the line waiting for the ball. So this way, if you switch the ball quickly enough, you're one-on-one, you beat one guy, you cross the ball, which he always beats the guy. And the same thing should happen when Conceição has the ball on the right side. Nico tends to go inside, so he gets lost all the way in. He should be out on the wing, beat the guy and cross the ball. So I think that Juventus is on the right track. Inter a little bit less, but they had a lot of chances to score, so I think for 1 week we'll let him go. And AC Milan, if they want to do anything, you have to beat Bologna.
We are
They have to beat Feyenoord first.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about you're talking about, I was talking about Campionato.
I just mean,
the Scudetto.
I think if Milan go out to Feyenoord, that's a huge damper on their season. It will be a big disaster.
But he was talking about catching up all the.
We are. We're going to catch up. We're going to beat Bologna. Don't worry.
If you beat
I promise
Bologna,
Wow,
you could be on the way for maybe a Champions League. If you lose to Bologna, you're out.
Hey, we
That's
have
an indicator,
another.
huh?
We have another 10 games.
That's an indicator for you?
Yeah.
We have another 10, 11 games. Come on.
13
Gaetano.
games.
Pete,
How many?
Why
Pete?
don't-
How many?
13.
13 games.
why don't we start with? Should we start with Inter or with Juventus? Where do you guys want to start? Which team?
I will start with Inter.
I can start with Inter.
Are you? Usually they say if you create a lot of chances and the ball doesn't want to go into the back of the net, then you shouldn't worry. Is that how you feel?
I think the first half we had the right approach. I think, a lot of chances, didn't go our way, especially from Lautaro, who's the captain, who, unfortunately with Thuram out, we needed him to step up. So I think there was a couple of things that I kind of looked at. One, I would say, Inter for the past 3 seasons haven't had the chance to spend any money.
Oh, here we go. Oh, my God. Oh, now he's going to twist everything into a pretzel. Give me a break, man.
smiling too.
Are you kidding me?
He was smiling.
I mean,
Hold on.
everything I was
Let me-
expecting
why-
except this shit.
Why
Oh, my
can't I
God.
talk?
No,
Why can't I talk? I don't have the
Nor-
chance to
Nor-
talk.
Oh, my
He's
God.
gonna
I
rail
told
through
you.
Feyenoord,
Listen.
and no one can say anything. Let me speak.
Normally, I would stop him,
Let
but that
me
was pretty
speak.
funny.
I know.
That was funny. Yeah.
Oh,
shit.
shit. I see his face. He's about to explode.
Oh, my God.
But the reality, this
And
is
he's
the
right.
reality. This
Peter's
is the
right.
reality.
Peter's right. Okay.
For the past 3 seasons, we haven't been able to spend, but yet we've always been able to get the right player for free. This year, it's evident, very evident, that Taremi is not of Inter's level. We have a big hole when Thuram is not able to play every game.
2
There
rams
is no-
or 3 rams?
There is no 9. So, unfortunately, Marotta has done an amazing job with what the cards he's been dealt. But this upcoming summer, the new ownership group has to be able to put some money on the table. That's my first step.
Do you think this game was lost because of Taremi, though?
No, I don't think it's lost because of Taremi, but we had nothing going forward as a true number 9 to link up. We need something. Thuram is the only player that we have that gives us depth in our attack.
Beats
No
his
one
man
can beat the
one-on-one.
man. No one can go past
Gotcha.
that. So it changes the outcome of the game or who you're marking and the spacing. So
Gotcha.
that's number one. Number two, it's Inter's the oldest team in Serie A.
Yeah.
So we've seen them struggle late in the game where they're not able to hold leads, or we're not able to bring the same energy that we had in the first half. We can talk about we're the only team that's playing on 3 fronts and whatnot, but
You're not the only team.
not the only team, but meaning have a chance. They say Champions
Gotcha.
League. They should be one of the contenders to win the Champions League. They're in Serie A to win the Scudetto, the Coppa Italia, this and Coppa Italia. So, we can say all that, but Juventus have 2 extra games this week, which is the game that they played already, and they're also preparing for the next game. So there's no excuse for Inter not having enough energy or the energy levels to be able to play this game at a high tempo for 90 minutes. That's number one. Then I look at Inzaghi, and it's always the same substitutions. The 60th minute is very clear that he was not happy with Taremi. Thuram is coming off of injury, and he wasn't ready. You saw in that game, he didn't look, he looked like a fraction of himself. So you had him coming in. Then you take out Di Marco and Bastoni, who are practically the 2 Inter fans on that team. You take them out in the 60th minute. So it was just question mark. Then Correa, that you bring in Correa that hasn't played any game. What is he going to give you? I'd rather have Fratesi in that role to try to push up or make those darting runs, and at least run back and try to win a ball, than have Correa there that had very limited game time.
Fair point.
Unfortunately, Çalhanoğlu is not himself since he's returned, and there's a big issue there. And it's not an excuse. I'm just saying.
What is it then?
I'm
It's not an
saying as
excuse?
far as how, because we're talking about Inter and them slipping up, right? We are seeing an Inter team that is old and that is not at its 100%.
Can I ask you?
And that's
is this the first time you worry maybe the Scudetto won't be yours? Is this the first real time?
well. The biggest thing is that we're not beating the head-to-head.
Yeah.
We're not winning the head-to-head.
you didn't beat Milan or Juve this year.
Yeah.
Oh, Napoli.
Zero wins.
We
Well,
haven't-
they still have one more game to play against
Yeah.
Napoli.
So and they say like when Inter doesn't win,
It's never
one of those,
happened
they've
before.
never won a Scudetto.
Inter have never won the Scudetto when they didn't beat Milan and Juve in a season.
The only thing I could say, but they're not our direct competitors for the Scudetto.
Fair enough.
So in the past, it's always been if Inter loses those games, that means Milan's going to win or Juventus is going to win.
Fair enough.
And it's right now the ones that are closest to winning
Napoli.
are Napoli
Atalanta.
and Atalanta.
That's a good perspective.
So that's the only thing I can say to throw it in the mix. And we created chances.
But to
We
answer
were
my
able
question,
to-
is this the first time? For me, when I look around, there's so much time left. I don't think that 2 points, 3 points is going to be decisive at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I just mean from a belief standpoint. It's the first time that I've seen some Inter fans start to question you know what? Even if we are the best team, because everybody could agree that on paper, and football's not won on paper, Inter are the best team. Is this the first time that you've questioned, hey, maybe we're not going to win this? Do you have some doubt after this?
Yeah, you can say that, because I think the Fiorentina game was like a fluke. It was just a bad game. This is a game where if you're going to win the Scudetto, you got to figure out a way to get points in Juventus. And even history is not on our side. Whenever we go to Torino, we very rarely win a game. So what I think, knowing that Napoli slipped up, Inter had to have the taste of blood. And ultimately, we weren't able to. The game is, no matter, you could have 90% possession, as Antonio say, you could have all the shots in the world, but if you don't win that game or you don't score the goal, then you're the only ones to blame.
I would like your perspective on, and let's do Inter and then we'll do Juventus.
I don't think now it's the time to question, Inter if it's after this game, because in this game you had a lot of chances. Okay, if Lautaro puts that goal in the first half, it's a different game. So you created a lot of chances in the first half. So if I'm an Inter fan, I would not right now be the one to say, hey, we have to. If the team did not create any chances, then I would be alarmed. But
what about the lack of concentration, the lack of killer instinct?
There's something that I noticed. You had a bad second half against the Super Cup. You had a bad second half against Fiorentina, and you had a bad second half yesterday. Like you said, when you get to the 60 minutes, what happens to Bastoni, Marco Mkhitaryan, and all these guys? Do they only have 60 minutes in their legs? I mean, yesterday, why was all these changes? I mean, that I didn't understand.
Yeah. It's also the timing, right? Because the team is performing. Yeah. Maybe they didn't come out in the second half. But to make 3 changes like that,
and
it changes the...
80% of the games are decided, Statman, are decided in the second half. So you always get to that 60 minutes. You make changes like, they cannot play anymore.
And all we say is that Inter have the best bench. And I think we all do agree that they have the best bench when you look around Serie A from top to bottom. So I think that for me, I really looked at it and I said, okay, you know what? Inter's human. They're going to lose these sorts of matches. And they're not the killers that they were last year. And I think that's normal. I think it's normal when you're fighting on all these different competitions. They always say, every coach that's won always says winning the second year is even harder because you have to fire up the motivation. You're going with guys that have already won already. Some of these players are like Hakan's dealing with injuries he's never dealt with before. And then you have competition who's really fired up. So I personally see it as, I definitely think the age plays a factor, that Inter is one of the oldest teams. But I also just see a lack of concentration that time and time again, I've been waiting for Inter in so many big games. I'm waiting for them to step up. I say, okay, we all say that they're the best team. But then in these high-pressure moments, where are they? The fact that Juventus got 4 out of 6 points against Inter, and this is a Juventus that we've been saying is in a crisis, got Thiago Motta, they started the season so bad, they can't win a game. To me, that's alarming for Inter that they're not able to have that killer instinct because they're so good.
I don't think it's that crazy. I think we might be blown out of proportion a little bit. Yeah, you can say, listen, you're always going to have a target on your back when you win the Scudetto. Everyone wants to get after you. We all know. We've seen it in previous seasons. And, yeah, I guess you can say it's an aging squad. Of course, you could say that. Also, Lautaro hasn't been in form. But they did have, like Gaetano said, they did have a lot of chances. If you bury one of them, it's a different game. And at the end of the day, they're 2 points away. And, yeah, they might not be winning against the bigger guys, but there's more smaller teams and bigger teams in Serie A. So if you got the job done with those and you still got to play Napoli, it's right there. I think.
What do you think on the Inter side? Who do you agree with? Because
Let
some
me
of us
just
have
say
caused
something
concern.
what I see it. This is what I see it.
Oh, boy.
Napoli has given plenty of opportunity to Inter to make up the deficit. They did partially. But as Peter said before, they don't smell blood. They did not take fully advantage of all the negative situation that Napoli is going through lately between the ties, the fact that they sold Kvara and they're having trouble with the sub of Kvara and all that stuff. But aside from that, they played a great first half. The thing is that the second half, on the first half, Juventus was tracking back. On the second half, I saw total different Juventus. Juventus was pushing forward, okay? And I see the intensity that Juventus put it on the second half. They won the game. So what I did, the game was won mentally, I said, we wanted to win. So they push forward and they push with the anger, with intensity. They wanted the game. So then I said to myself, am I seeing something right? The first half was excellent. I mean, both teams, Juventus was a little bit tracking back a little bit too much. But then they said, hey, those guys, we gave them so many opportunities, they didn't score. Now let's take the game to them. And that's what they did. Now, as far as all the excuses that Peter comes up with, I think it's got nothing to do with it. Nothing has changed from last year. You have a little elderly people eating the retirement home, like putting them on a nursing home situation. But they're still excellent player. Acerbi's has started. In any team, Acerbi's has started. He didn't play bad at all yesterday. Bastoni, I just questioned the subs of Inzaghi. I think he screws the game up for himself. Why are you taking those players up? And if you have that kind of intention, why don't you save Di Marco for the second half? You just take your chance with another winger. And those are the people that are going to make the difference for you. And then on the second half, you take them all out. How can you do that? Especially when you're in a deficit situation.
A lot of people questioning Inzaghi subs today.
The subs, they're really disgraceful. Inzaghi, none of them had a yellow card situation. Last year, he used to just take out everybody that got a yellow card. Doesn't matter whether you're winning or losing. He all took them all out because he was afraid of the red, whichever the situation might be. But this year, Inter could have still won the game at the beginning of the second half. They gave up on the game, I think. Juventus took the game to them and they won the game with... To me, they deserve it.
No, Mkhitaryan gave a quote after the game. They asked him what happened in the second half. And he said, we went into the first half knowing that we were a much better team, knowing that we played a great first half. We were perfect. He said, maybe we're so good that we don't feel like we have to earn it. And he said it's not a tactical, it's not a technical thing.
Mentality.
It's a mental thing where sometimes they take the field and maybe you're not humble enough. You don't still have that spirit of sacrifice. And then you go up against a team like Antonio rightfully said that in the second half just said, no matter what, you're not going to beat us here. So there's definitely that aspect. And to be able to motivate these guys, maybe you need to refresh in the squad. Maybe you need to add different pieces. I don't know what it is, but I definitely feel like there's so many chances, like Antonio's mentioned, where Napoli has slipped, and I haven't just seen that killer instinct from Inter. And I thought with having gone forward in the Champions League, with missing the game this week, this would have been a good opportunity for Inter to get that.
I would say the Scudetto is for Inter to lose, because I think being that it's only 2 points, there's still a lot more games to go, and the season is still long. But the question mark that Mkhitaryan brings up, that's an issue when one of the older players says, hey, we're not approaching the games the right way, or we're taking for granted. So, I hope, if anything, this loss, which, like you said, I agree 100%. Juventus deserved the win after the second half, the aggressiveness and how they came out firing at 100%. But going back to Inter, hopefully this is a loss that's kind of a wake-up call, because I did like Lautaro, being that he's a captain, and he knew that he messed up. He was absolutely livid with himself, and I'm sure with losing. And that's what I mean by taking out a Di Marco, Bastoni. These are guys that are Inter fans from, they're Di Marco especially came up through the Inter youth. He knows what it means to beat Juventus. He understands what it means to lose against the Juventus. So you need that guy in that game foaming at the mouth. You need to have that mentality where this is my rival and I need to see them, dead. I need to see them in the ground.
It's a good perspective. If we switch to Juventus.
But Marco, to finish what Peter said and then you go on, nobody asked to be subbed. Nobody asked to be subbed. Lautaro didn't ask to be subbed.
Well, Lautaro wasn't subbed out, but
listen to me. Again, the question mark is Inzaghi attitude and his mentality to take his best player out when even the game is on the line. Why does he do that all the time?
Well, I mentioned that, and also I don't agree with subbing 3 players in a 0-0 game.
That's bad.
If you're losing and you need to have a wake-up call, then you could sub in the 3 guys. Okay, let's change something. We're not doing what we're doing.
To switch gears and talk about Juventus, because I think you rightfully said Juventus deserve it because Inter did not take advantage of their opportunities. And the thing that made me really happy to see, it was finally you saw a good reaction in the second half from Juventus. Juventus have been a team where usually they start the games really well. Most of the time they go up a goal. And then whether it's the inexperience, the youth, careless mistakes out of the back, they screw themselves up, and then that's how they tie games. And it was the first time that I saw a sense of understanding of what Juventus was. They knew that Inter was coming to your home. Even if Juventus has not been great and there's question marks about Thiago Motta and a lot of the players, they're missing guys, they're missing injuries, they were saying, you're not going to beat us here. And they were smart towards the end of the game. That's what I noticed with this Juventus. And I think it's a win that could really turn tides for Thiago Motta. Finally, we saw him on the sideline looking aggressive, looking hungry. It gives a sense of belief to the rest of the team around him. Am I saying technically we saw the brilliant football? No, I don't think so. You saw great from Kolo Muani, who, I mean, has been involved in so many goals already. He's clearly the player that Thiago Motta wanted. He even said it after the game. Kolo Muani, you can't just look at the numbers, the assists and the goals. He said, look at the way that he presses the goalkeeper. Look at the way that he puts pressure on the defender. He said all those little things help us win the ball a lot better.
He lost one ball. He ran 70 or 80 yards to get it back.
So those are the things that, for him, Dusan Vlahovic was not doing, because this is the sixth time that Dusan Vlahovic was on the bench. But I really have to say there's a lot of good things going for this Juventus, and you see them in fourth place now. For as a disaster of a season that it started for them, this win could go a long way. And I mentioned it before, to get 4 out of 6 points against an Inter that is much better than you is something that they need to ride with.
Yeah, this was. I feel like Juve came out of this game like more determined than Inter. I did feel like Inter were more complacent and Juventus were kind of hungry. They knew maybe they weren't the better side or whatever the case was, but in terms of the quality they didn't have, I feel like they showed much more hunger than that sense. And I feel like that's what ultimately gave them the win. Yeah, you could have said Inter probably deserved the goal or whatever the case, but sometimes it doesn't happen. And these kinds of derbies, one goal could determine it, or one special player like Kolo Muani, who's absolutely on fire right now, and whatever he's doing, he was going in. Whatever he touches is either a goal or assist. It's insane. And the next question now is thinking about, is Motta, for the naysayers that were talking about Motta saying like, he's not good enough, blah 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 with the draws. We all knew it was going to be a project. It was going to take some time. But now I feel like we're seeing something, a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And I feel like at the end of the day, you got to give Motta more than a season. Obviously, for the... Anto.
No. Nobody's questioning
I'm not
that.
sure
right
about
now.
that.
Nobody's questioning. They're in fourth place.
Mike.
I want to ask you, because you texted me before the game, and you said Juventus will not lose this game. And I agreed with you. And I said, I totally agree. Why did you say that?
Well, you're playing home. You're playing the Derby d'Italia. You are in a position where you must get to the Champions League position. There's no way you're going to lose the game. There's no way. You're going to leave everything inside the field, and you're going to make sure that you do not lose this game. I got something for you now. Conceição Meravillaho.
Wow.
And that's not the guy that smoked the cigars.
But that's his father.
That's this little guy. What a player, man. He's all heart. He defends. He's a right fullback. He's a right midfielder. He's a right wing. He dribbles. He's not afraid to take people on and cross the ball from the right, from the left. I love this kid.
Me too. I agree with that.
One other thing that I saw from Juventus, which I liked, and I hope that this guy comes true, is Cup Miners. I think yesterday he was playing in a different position. He did an extremely great defensive work. He won so many balls in the midfield, inside the area, so many times. He won the ball with the header, with the foot. He was really good. I hope that we have a little bit more patience with this guy and he can come true. He needs to score a goal. If this guy scores a goal, maybe he can start hitting the target. And for Motta, he made a good move. Savona is out. Savona was having a terrible game in the
He's
first
not a
half.
left back, though, to be fair to him.
Yeah,
He was forced to play there.
But he made the move.
Mm-hmm.
Motta saw it and he took care of it. And I think when Cambiaso came in, he helped out defensively and he helped out offensively. So he made a few moves. I liked it. Good job by Juventus.
Listen to me. The things that is making the difference in this team is just started like a month ago. It's Colomwani. Okay? This guy here, for some reasons, is making Vlahovic looking like a nobody. Vlahovic, who? It's no more Vlahovic. The fact that this guy doesn't even pair him up with the Colomwani or use him like this guy is begging, which I believe would be a good idea to put both of them playing together. These guys are not even a factor. In a game like that, il Derby d'Italia, Juventus against Inter, you leave until yesterday, Vlahovic was the symbol of Juventus, was the franchise player of the Juventus. Juventus built the team around him. All of a sudden, now this guy here, he finds himself on the bench because of his demand of money and the rumor of the trading. And all of a sudden, Colomwani comes out of nowhere from sitting on another bench, comes into Juventus, and he becomes a superstar. This guy is a threat into the defense of any team. So I think the Inter, they panic. Look at this guy here. He took 3 or 4 of those idiots, all national team players, and he turned them around like he put them like inside one of those food processor. Boom! He spinned them like idiots. He took the ball around.
You are a poet.
Their heads was spinning, and then the ball went up into the left foot of Conceição, Meravigliao, and then boom.
It was a broken
scored.
play. Anyway,
I'm not
credit
done
to
yet.
Colomwani, but Acerbi was caging him. He wasn't doing much up until then.
Up
So-
until then, well, you're making a mistake. One mistake that you
Of
need,
course.
that's what's going to be fatal.
and it was
to
very
you.
clear that Vlahovic was out of favor with.
He's
Thiago
been on the
Motta.
bench. He's played
So-
48 minutes in the past 6
Yeah,
games.
but it's very clear. And then Thiago Motta doesn't like to play with 2 strikers, so it makes sense.
But this is the message that he's sending already. They already have sent that
he
this
sent
guy.
it
But you know
already.
what pisses me off about this thing here? This guy here is the franchise player. This guy is losing money as we speak right now.
Yeah,
You're
but-
not using a guy
They're
like
gonna cut
that.
their losses
Even
now.
on a trade
Juventus-
situation next year,
Juventus
this
lose-
guy's going to be worth
Juventus
maybe
loses
half
30,
of what
30,
they
30 million, 30
Juventus-
million.
Yeah, but Juventus
I'd
loses
imagine.
more money if they don't make Champions League. So you have to go with the guy
That's true, too.
that's going to play. We can say that Inter's much better, and Inter slipped up in both games because even let's not forget the 4-4 tie. Inter should have scored 6 goals and should have won that game 6-2, if anything.
should have, could
Of
have.
course,
Shall have.
What were you gonna
ultimately it
say?
doesn't mean anything. But look at Juventus. This summer they spent a lot of money. January they knew they had to go after players. They went after players. Inter yet again this summer did not have money to spend, and this January, Taremi wasn't doing much. Arnautovic is not a great option. Correa is not a good option. You want to win. You want to win Champions League. You want to win the Scudetto. You get another striker.
Pete, come on, Pop.
I
You
agree
have,
with
you
you.
have the player. No,
100%.
no, you have the
100%.
player.
You wanna
You
win
have
the
the player.
Champions League.
Pete, you have the best bench.
It doesn't matter.
All your bench are all
I'm
starters. The
saying a
national team
striker,
players.
but sorry.
Strikers.
Why
Give me a
Milan?
break.
What did Milan do
Strikers.
this winter?
What did we do? Nothing.
You didn't do nothing.
No, we got Jimenez. We got
Mama,
Jimenez. Joao
get
Felix.
out of here. Come on.
We got bench players.
Yeah, bench players.
Walker. You guys got some players.
Walker.
Let's do let's do Milan now. I think we talked enough about this game. Milan, again, another game where every time I watch Milan, I'm left wanting more. Especially in the start of the game, he doesn't play loud, doesn't play Pulisic. Pulisic's been coming off a knock, but he should be able to change a couple players against Verona. Verona's bleeding goals. Verona concedes goals like nothing. And in the first half, Milan had no creativity, nothing going for them up top. And it feels like to me, once again, any team that sits back a little bit, that's even remotely organized, Milan had like no ideas on what to do. Then luckily, they make the substitutions. I love Alex Jimenez, the young 19-year-old. I think that this kid, every time he comes in, he does something well. He always does. And again, we're talking about a teenager playing at the San Siro. He gives a beautiful ball to Lau. Santi Jimenez scores back-to-back Serie A goals. Only 2 other players in Milan's history have ever scored in back-to-back Serie A games, Pulisic and Shevchenko. He's in the right place at the right time.
Piontek never did it?
I don't think so. No,
I don't think so.
Wow. Not in back-to-back Serie A games, at least, according to
Piontek.
Opta.
What a throwback from Piontek.
But
Piontek.
the guy Jimenez, Santi Jimenez, I like that he's a fox in the box. He's like Retegui to me. He knows where he's got to be. He reads the situation, and that's a skill, and that's an art in and of itself, and it's something that you guys were lacking. But do you agree that you're always waiting for more from Milan?
Again, I question again now even Conceição attitude of which player you start. But I applaud him of sitting Leao, sitting Pulisic, and this is what I was trying to tell Peter before. Why can't you guys look at what Conceição does? He doesn't put all the stars from the beginning. So what he does, he wears off the team first,
and then if reality.
Listen to me. He's wearing off the team
That's
first.
not what he's doing.
Then AC Milan, listen to me. Hello,
He wasn't doing
English.
that. He was expecting to put 4 goals and keep Leao on the bench.
Yeah, but
because you have a Champions League game tomorrow.
But it didn't happen. So since it didn't happen, he brought all the big guns out, and I said, "Okay, guys,
He's 45
you
minutes
sat on
not
your
doing
ass
something.
for half a game. Now it's time for you to just end the game," and that's what happened.
Yeah, in the game.
They ended it well. We had a lot of chances. On the second half, we had a lot of chances. So how many have you done against Juventus? You didn't put on even a ball inside.
So the big thing, the big question mark
AC Milan
is
deserved to win.
what Milan's going to do this week. For me, it's season defining what happens tomorrow. It's in a couple hours for us.
We're going to win.
Milan has to win and turn around the game against Feyenoord. You took their best player. You're playing against Feyenoord. You lost the first game. You're playing at the San Siro. In my eyes, there is no way that Milan can go out of this. And if they do, it's a massive, massive, massive failure if you don't go to the next round in the Champions League.
It's troubling, though, Anto, to see Milan, even against Verona. Like, you guys should be able to be handling those kinds of teams with the star players on
We
the
suffer
bench.
with a small team, Mike. Those are people that
That's
they just
not-
park the bus on the back, and then
Anto.
it's not easy to
Okay,
score.
so how do you
They
see
didn't
the...
park the... First of all, I mean, even against Feyenoord, who we thought were going to bowl past through, they played much better. Could have been 2-0. Could have been 3-0. Who knows?
We had our chances too, but we didn't convert. So,
how do we
AC
see-
Milan had the chances
how do
too
you see
against
the game?
Feyenoord. I think AC Milan is going to come fired up. They know that the game is on the line. The Champions
better.
League is on the line, and the San Siro. You do not want to disappoint and going out with a lot of booze in San Siro. 80,000 people. They're going to be sitting on the stadium tomorrow. Not only that, we have the team. Our team is much better. All you have to do, we had the first game. We study Feyenoord. We saw them on the field. We know who to block. Oh, let's look at this laughing.
Anto's in the video room.
We know who we're gonna stop, and we're gonna
Brazilian
do the
guy's
job.
good.
We're gonna do the job.
You should have watched the tape before.
What are you talking about? This is not the 60s. You have all the videos and all the TV and all that you can watch before the game.
The video
to
games,
know-
the video
to
games, and the
know who's
TVs,
who.
they don't mean anything
Yeah,
anymore.
in the
okay?
60s, you don't know who the other
Okay.
players. Anyway,
Oh, boy.
We're gonna win the game tomorrow.
you guys are much better.
We are.
Okay.
On paper.
And you have this Fab Four, which are 4 great players. This guy Joe Howe, he started pretty good. I mean, nice, beautiful goal. But you need to do this, every game. I mean, this Joe Howe is got to come through every game,
It's
not
true.
just the first game, not just he's got talent, but you have to. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
He's got talent.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
So you got I would like to see this Fab Four come through every game. Because
Fat
if-
four?
Fab.
Fabulous.
Fab.
Fabulous.
Fab.
I thought you just said fat four.
Fabulous.
Okay. All right.
I guess you didn't watch. You never watched.
I don't watch things. I'm
basketball.
busy.
You're not too good
No,
at basketball.
I don't like
I don't watch
basketball.
things. I'm busy.
I'm in the studio every day.
Yeah, I'm here every day playing football.
Do we all agree? No matter how they would go out, if Milan go out in the Champions League to Feyenoord, it's a massive failure of a season.
Yeah, obviously.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
We all agree. I don't think that there's anything to save it, honestly.
Yes.
So what about if you guys go out?
This guy's
guy
taking
always
fights over
deflects.
here.
He's got always.
He always
Ah, don't
deflects.
talk about
Yes,
Milan.
yes. If Juventus go out, it's a massive failure against PSV. I agree.
Can
I'm
that
not,
happen?
I'm not hiding. And guess what? It's a massive failure if Atalanta goes out against Club Brugge
What about?
as well.
That's right.
True.
Or any of the Italian teams. If they lose to this opposition, and yes, in Champions League, all the opponents are difficult. It could be whatever. I'm not even going there.
You gotta-
They have to
no
win.
excuses.
All 3 of them have to go
Yeah.
through, or it is a failure. Period. End of story. I don't care about injuries. I don't
Right.
care about anything else. You have to win these games.
Pete,
That's
how's
all I'm
it-
saying to the.
How does it
to the
feel
team.
like you see the rest of the peasants over here fighting while you qualify?
Peasants. Who's a peasant? Who's a peasant? Oh, meaning Galatasaray? Well, what do you mean? Olympiacos is a peasant? We're not peasants. We have 7 Champions League, Mike.
I'm saying current season.
Let's talk about the other big games, the big games that happened. Lazio, Napoli. A lot of talking points in this game. I say we focus on Lazio first and give them their love. They've beaten Napoli 2 times. The 2 times that they played them previously, in four days. One of them, Coppa Italia, Napoli were missing a lot of players, if we're honest with ourselves. But the way that Lazio play their games, I mean, right from the start, Isaksen, he's a player that I think is growing a lot. He had one opportunity, though, to score that probably would have put the game to bed. But you got to give so much credit to the way that Baroni has found solutions with this Lazio. They're so vertical. They're so direct. They don't take as many passes to get to the goal. Tati Castellanos gets hurt. But they also have the bench, the players that come in, Boulaye Dia as well, is coming back from an ankle injury to score the goal. He's done it so many times. I think he's got 7 goals so far this season. That's one aspect that I think Baroni has done really well over Maurizio Sarri, is getting guys off the bench that are motivated to play and to do well. That goes far for you in a season. And they played a better game than Napoli.
By far.
They played a better game than Napoli. They scored an own goal. So there's a lot of positives that I think Lazio can take away from this result. Even though they tie, when you look at the performance, they definitely had Napoli's number this season. Anyone else on Lazio or
Delebashiru said one. It was played only 10 minutes before the end of the game. But I like that guy a lot.
Yeah, I just want to say about Lazio, Isaksen.
Yep.
What a player, man! And he had another chance, which probably was easier than the other one, and that was really close. If they scored that goal,
it's over.
This guy Isaksen would have built a statue yesterday. I liked a very, very good player.
They're just too overpowered on their left side.
But Marco,
the left side of Lazio is so strong with Tavares. It's everything is the left side. Then the right side it's a little bit weaker, and especially every time I see Mauro
make me question, the proveness of Napoli. I mean, you got a Buongiorno back and all the stuff. I mean, we know Juan Jesus is not really the top of the cream of the crop, but nevertheless, Napoli is struggled in this game. Here.
They went back to the 3-5-2. Sorry.
You didn't go after a sub for Kvaratskhelia. Yeah. Neres is injured now for a while.
That's the problem.
And you have
40 days.
Lukaku is not giving you enough.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got 9 goals, 7 assists. He got another assist in this game. All of his goals that he's involved with are decisive goals. He's not the Lukaku of the past, of Inter. But when I look at what he's done, I think he's helped this team tremendously. And he's probably going to be better with Raspadori next to him now.
Listen, with Raspadori, it would be nice to see even for the Italian national team because the kid was lost this season, and it'd be important for him to kind of get back. He scored the goal, which ultimately Napoli tied. It's a good Lazio this season. They're playing away. Even when they're not playing great, they're able to get a point. So, that's something, and they gained a point over Inter. If they look at it. So ultimately, they have a long way to go. But I just think you didn't go after Kvaratskhelia replacement. Neres is now injured. It's kind of, you're kind of leaving Inter there. Yeah. So even though Inter's dropping points, Napoli's not running away with it either. So
and that's your luck.
And that's Inter's luck. I think, if anything, the fact that De Laurentiis did not go after a star player that can replace Kvaratskhelia ultimately is going to be the demise of Napoli.
Yeah, P, I agree with you on that point for sure. Listen, Lazio played great, and they probably... The draw seemed bittersweet for them because they scored it at the end, but we talked about Lazio having a great season. But listen, if you're Napoli and you're up 2-1 and you're playing for going for the Scudetto and you're Conte, and yes, you have injuries, but you got to close out these kinds of games. They got a gift from Juventus that beat Inter, and if they didn't,
they were lucky to be up there, Mike.
The past 3
Mike,
games.
They tried, Mike.
The past 3 games they haven't won.
The goal that they scored for the 2-1.
I get it.
I've never seen a more freakish
But these
goal.
games you're gonna be counting them at the end of the season.
Nobody's
and be like,
no team's
why
perfect though.
Do it.
I mean, look at what happened. Mazzocchi. Okay, so they play a 3-5-2. They went back to 3-5-2 because he's forced to play a 3-5-2. We could all agree that that's the only formation. He plays Di Lorenzo as a right wing back. Di Lorenzo is not a right wing back. Di Lorenzo, my gosh. Then you have Mazzocchi as the left wing back. Don't even get me started with Mazzocchi. I could do an entire podcast talking about Mazzocchi. And I feel bad because it's not his fault, but he's just simply not he's barely Serie A level. I mean, he could be playing in one of the bottom 10 teams in Serie A, maybe. And he's starting on the team that's in first place in Serie A. And He has to do it because Oliveira's out, because Spinazzola's out. But then even he goes, he needs to be subbed. There's a quote that says Conte looked at the bench and he said, "But Mazzocchi, who am I supposed to put in?" And he has to put Rafa Marin in. I've never seen Rafa Marin play. I mean, do you understand what they did? It is incredible. For me, it's incredible that they even tied the game against Lazio, a team that had your number. So I get your perspective, and I agree with you that towards the end of the game, you could close it out. But I'm so impressed that they were even able to hold on when I looked at the 11 that they had.
The way they're going now, they're not gonna win the Scudetto.
But
they're just not.
Not necessarily true.
They're barely squeezing by, and ADL, honestly, I think he messed up this team by not investing.
But
that's what I think.
At the same token, this was their last big away game. Lazio was the last big away match for Napoli. The last big game is against Inter. Napoli-Inter. And of course, you can make the argument when you play the smaller teams towards the end of the season.
They're going to play us. They're going to play Milan.
They play at their home.
So what?
They play at their home.
So what?
Away, Lazio was the big game.
Well, are they playing Como away? Because Como's been playing
Como
really
is the
great.
last game of the season.
Como.
Como.
Yeah, I don't
Is
don't
I thought they play Como next.
That's what I thought.
I think it's
Napoli.
Napoli.
I'm talking about Napoli.
Yeah,
Napoli,
I think Napoli play Como next week.
That's what I thought I saw too.
I'll check it.
Como, they're not easy.
No, Como's not easy. But
Como
I'm saying,
Napoli.
yeah, Como Napoli.
Next week?
Next week.
Their last game of the season is against Cagliari.
Gaetano bought tickets. He thought it was the last game.
So the point being, and yes, they have to play Bologna, but I'm talking about the big games. They're better quality wise than the rest of the teams. I think when you play Lazio, when you play Inter, and you play Milan, at least they're gonna play those games at home now. So with that being said, if they could get their guys back, Buongiorno back, thank God. He was out for 2 months. He is a brilliant player. I love watching Buongiorno. So they still can get it done. Also because the dip of Inter, while you could say it's right now, I still think it's to come because they have to play in the Champions League and they can go further in the Champions League and they look a lot more hungry in the Champions League than they do anything else. And I said it in the last podcast and I'll say it again. There is a really good chance that, not really good, but there's a chance that Inter has to play Milan 4 more times this year.
Well, then that'd be
in
nice.
the Coppa Italia, which if you beat Lazio, that's confirmed. And then in the Champions League, if you beat Feyenoord, Inter and Milan could be paired. If Inter has to play Milan 4 more times, the amount of energy, it would suck so much out of Inter, in my opinion. We already saw what it did to them the first couple times that they played them. Milan has had their number. So I think when you add all of that into account, you can still see justification for why they went.
I think Napoli have bigger problems with themselves by them having other teams to bail out. You're hoping Inter lose rather than them not picking up the wins. And if I was ADL, I'd be picking up some free agents right about now.
Free agent. You cannot do anything anymore. That's it. Il mercato is closed.
You can pick up a free agent.
Yeah,
a
but
free agent.
who's a
From
free
Yeah,
agent?
I don't know who.
There's nobody left over there.
I don't know, but let the director do their job. They need someone.
Balotelli is available.
They had an entire month
Super
and
Mario.
they weren't able to do it. The big thing is, imagine if Napoli have another injury. If they have one other guy go down,
They're already not doing well.
if they have Lukaku go down, I mean, maybe you could say Simeone. If they have like an Anguissa or McTominay or Lobotka, boy, the big game against Inter, that'll be something special. And I will say right now, Inter have to win that game. You have to beat Napoli.
I would say so.
Listen,
You have
for
to beat Napoli.
For Napoli to win the campionato, God forbid Marco, prediction comes true, that you guys have to play AC Milan another 4 times between the Coppa Italia, the Champions League, and so on and so on. It can be a lot of problem because AC Milan, we got nothing to lose. You guys,
You're
you
gonna
were
play
the favorite.
Spoiler.
Yeah, you guys were the favorite to win the triplete, the quadruplete.
You guys are there for attendance.
You guys were there to win everything. Everything. Now, we're going to see, starting from the Coppa Italia, coming now soon,
Right
right?
to play Lazio.
You have to be Feyenoord first.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about Inter,
Let's
okay?
talk about it tomorrow.
Feyenoord. Okay, we'll talk about tomorrow. But I'm telling you, God forbid we beat Feyenoord for you. How will just starting to buy Tylenols or Motrins because it's going to hurt. Believe me.
Would you
the
rather-
pain is going to be
go ahead.
so much.
Would you rather play, real quick, would you rather play Juventus or Milan?
Milan.
You'd rather play Milan?
Yeah.
Why?
Really? Than
Why?
Juventus
I think
in the Champions League?
defensively, Milan are not as good as Juventus. And I think with Milan, although the speed is scary, I think overall we match up better. With Juventus,
Really?
with Juventus, we've always had difficulty, and I think just the players that Juventus have match up well versus Inter.
Okay. What were you gonna add?
Two things. You talk about Inter playing at Napoli, and there's 2 points difference, but you could tie and you can win that game, and you're still good.
You
but
think you could take a tie?
yeah, they can tie. Still 2 points.
Yeah,
you
but
still remain 2 points. But if you lose,
I think you gotta kill them.
you go 5 points.
it's
No,
not easy.
if you're
It's
2
not
points
easy.
away, you can still do it. But
I don't agree.
let me say another thing. You said next week, talking about Como.
Como stuff.
I love this kid Diao, and I love
Nico
this
Paz.
kid Nico Paz.
Yep.
Man, that
Nico
kid
Paz.
is so good. He's 19 years old.
Yeah.
I think he's 19. And this other Diao, I don't know where he came from,
Real Betis.
but what a player, man. And it's going to be fun, I think, to see Como play. I think they have a good team. I think they play, the games to win. They did a good job. And it's not going to be easy for Napoli to go to Como next week.
It's a very, very difficult match.
Yeah.
And Como's a team that's been growing. Even their last game, the way that they were able to win.
Yeah.
What's really interesting is I listened to on Calcio Finanza, there's a really good interview with their president, Mirwan, where he talks about Como, and you could just understand the project that they're trying to build. And they're about entertainment. They know that to be a club now, you have to play a really attractive brand of football. He says we have 5 million tourists that come to Como every year. Como meaning Lago di Como, Lake Como. He said if we play a very boring game, if we sit back and we just try to win 1-0, we're not going to get anybody to come to the games. And our business model relies on people coming to the games. So we need Fabregas to play this attractive football. That's one of the reasons. And I really respect that they have this identity. They have this style. I want them to stay in Serie A because they have the
got
resources to be able to become a big team, but also just I feel like they see the bigger picture and things, and they've picked up amazing talents, and they're putting them in the spotlight for everybody to see, and I totally agree.
That's beautiful.
With all that being said, don't do it against Napoli. That's it.
Do they want to build a field,
Yep,
a stadium?
they're trying to.
You know that they
That would be
pushed
nice.
they pushed to get Theo Hernandez from AC Milan. 40 million they offer AC Milan for Theo Hernandez right now, like a few weeks ago.
They
And
said-
you wanted to give it for free.
Well, not for free. I mean,
I do like Como. I agree with you.
Yeah.
hey, they took Fiorentina. I mean, Fiorentina was not playing badly, but the pressure on the ball that they put when they lose ball.
Fiorentina
Oh my
played
God!
bad.
Listen,
Fiorentina played bad. They were just sitting back and trying to counter.
hey, that's what happened because Como didn't let them play their game. Como was pressing them even on their half.
Yeah.
Como doesn't let you think. Como they just get the people right up your butt. I mean, those guys were receiving the balls and they had all the time 1 or 2 players right next, and they took the ball away so many times. And then on a counter, boom, 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 they punished Fiorentina.
Yep.
It could have been worse, believe it or not.
Yep. Anything else to add, boys? Are we good? All right.
Did we miss anything?
Nope.
Bologna, Roma. How about
Oh yeah, Roma. We
How
could talk about Roma for a second. The turnaround that Ranieri's had. There was a stat that we posted today. Over the last five games, no team in all of Europe has earned more points than Roma. That's any team in the world. That's like Liverpool, Bayern, PSG.
In the last one.
In the last 5 games, it's 13 points. Nobody has earned more. Those teams have earned equal to them, but not
What a
more.
stat, 5 games.
And talking about
I think it was
Baby
5.
steps.
Let me double check.
steps.
talking about Roma, there's a great interview yesterday on Paramount about Fabio Caressa with boys from the Paramount Plus. The really, really nice interview about Roma.
Yeah, it is the last 5 games. Yeah, if they could get Ancelotti.
Yeah.
If they could get Ancelotti
Hey,
next year.
Ancelotti, come on. Are you
What?
crazy?
You had a dream.
Why not?
Why does it sound
He
crazy?
played in
No,
Roma.
Ancelotti's
He
not
played
gonna
in
go.
Roma.
Mourinho went there.
Why is it crazy to you?
Ancelotti's a high caliber.
Mike's
He's
right.
not going to
Mourinho
go
went
to...
there.
He went to
Mourinho, don't compare Mourinho with Ancelotti.
He went to Everton.
Mourinho's the dust under the shoes of Ancelotti.
He went to
Give me a break.
Everton. He went to Naples.
Stop.
Why can't he
Listen.
go to Roma? Roma, he played there.
You know what the sad part of this
And
game
he
was
knows,
yesterday?
Roma very
Is
well.
that Pecchia lost his job.
He did.
And guess who's taking his job?
Kivu.
This guy.
I met him personally. You remember Gaetano, the Inter party? Kivu, I'm
Did you
not
ask
sure
him
as a
about
coach.
Cassano?
He called security on you, no?
I'm not sure if it's as a coach is I haven't seen him coaching, but
Do you know
he
anything
coached
about him?
the youth of Inter, right?
Do you know anything? Any insight?
I just don't think. I don't know. For a relegation battle, you want
tough,
some
yeah.
experience, but
Like who? Giacchini?
He's got the youngest team in Serie A.
Yaki, Ballardini. I don't know. You got to look at the list of guys that have done it. Look at Davide Nicola. Little by little, he's making sure Cagliari's staying up. He might still go down, but at least he's gonna
He's
knows
gonna fight.
the methods to keep the
calculated.
team up.
Yeah.
So you go after a new guy. Listen, I hope it works out for them because Parma's a beautiful city.
I want them to stay as well.
But unfortunately, the investments haven't looked too promising.
Venezia and Monza are down.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah.
I would say pretty clear to me. There's something about Verona for me that I think that they're the third worst team. When I watch Verona play,
That right.
Well, the goal differential, number one.
really poor.
So like even if they tie on points, they risk going
It's like
down.
55. 55
And Monkey
goals
Poe is
conceded.
not a bad goalkeeper, believe it or not.
But he's not a
He's
good
just- he
keeper
just
either.
can't be taking
defender.
shots all game long.
Yeah, but
Good from far, but far from
Marco,
good.
he's got the defense is just so poor.
So who do you
So
think?
at the end, there's a lot of
I would say
head-to-head.
Verona. If I was making my guess, they would be the third team that I have going down.
Mm.
What do you guys say?
I would say the third team, definitely Parma. Would be Parma.
You
for
think
me,
Parma?
Yeah.
So you say Parma, Monza, Venezia. Mike?
I'll say
No, Verona.
Cagliari.
Verona is going to stay. Cagliari? No,
Cagliari,
Cagliari's gonna
Monza,
stay.
Venezia.
Yeah.
Cagliari?
I
No,
say
no, no.
Verona, Monza,
I want
Venezia.
Verona to
I say
stay.
Parma, Monza, Venezia.
We heard.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Verona is to be the third team.
Yeah, I guess I think Parma.
Parma, they.
But you know what? I gotta see. I gotta see if it's official. Kivu's there. It's a new coach. Let's see how the team responds. Usually there is that. No
Spark.
matter who's there, there's a spark.
So who do you think it's
come
going to
up.
be?
So I would say
You're
Hellas
taking a
Verona
guess.
maybe to drop down
Verona.
just because, like I said, the goals
They're
allowed
really poor.
and they have a tough schedule and there's a lot of head-to-head at the end. So it's gonna be an interesting one.
All right, let's see. Guys, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Ciao ragazzi.
Ciao, guys.